I will not address those guys for the next 3 weeks. They'll just be working out, and then we'll address their future at that time. Other than that, there's really nothing to say. Out for this game would be Jalen Darden and Jordan Whitehead. Everybody else will be a game-time decision, and it's a big, big game for us. It's a division game on the road, and I know everybody wants the other story, but we're playing the Falcons. I don't give a about that.
Hello, there he is, Bruce Arians. You can always count on an S-bomb or an F-bomb, or he later said, it pisses me off. Sorry, Liverpool, that Antonio Brown was suspended for misrepresenting his vaccination status. That's been the buzzword, Chris, because the union doesn't want to say fake vaccine card. They don't even have a negotiated punishment for a fake vaccine card because they don't want to make it easier for anyone to prosecute guys who get busted for misrepresenting their vaccination status, i.e. having a fake vaccination card. Because if you've got the CDC logo on that document that's falsified, you're looking at up to 5 years if somebody is sufficiently motivated to come after you. But the bottom line is Antonio Brown's out 2 more games. Mike Edwards out 2 more games. This all fell into the NFL's lap. They took the Rick Stroud story from the Tampa Bay Times. They used it as the template. Antonio Brown didn't pay his live-in chef allegedly $10,000. So the live-in chef, the former live-in chef, Stephen Ruiz, goes public with it, and it all explodes. And here's where we are. But when this ends, the day after the Sunday night game between the Saints and the Buccaneers coming up here week 15, the next day, AB and Mike Edwards come back. There really is a question as to whether or not they're going to tell Antonio Brown just keep going. They're considering it. Now, I don't think Tom Brady's going to let him do it, but they are considering it because this is a pretty serious deal. I mean, lost in all this is a guy committed fraud in an effort to get more favorable treatment under the COVID protocols. Hey, it's great if you're vaccinated. Get treated well if you're vaccinated. Not so well if you're not vaccinated. So I don't want to get vaccinated. I'll just go get a fake card, and I'll get to be treated like I am vaccinated. And that's pretty serious because you had a guy who wasn't vaccinated in the face of and around the guys who were vaccinated without masks, without any of the protections, any of the protocols. So it is a big deal, and it should be treated as one by the Bucs.
I mean, no doubt. First off, like to your point, I know you wrote this, but not only not vaccinated, but around a guy like Bruce Arians who just conquered cancer a few years ago, and, Tom Moore, who's up there in age. So from that point, it's, deceiving, careless about your feelings for other people. They're not going to let go of Antonio Brown. They're not. He proved that he's too valuable. He's too good. They're not going to do it. I'm going to say it now. I'll be shocked if they let him go. Now, I mean, when you heard that somebody, skirted the vaccination card rules, I mean, whoa, is Antonio Brown? Shocker. I'm shocked. Well, Hall of Fame receiver, Hall of Fame knucklehead. I don't know what other way to say it. I mean, if you made a list, before the year and said, let's list our top 5 guys that might fake a vaccination card, Antonio Brown certainly would have been on our list as the top 5 guy to do that, all right? That on top of, this also falls under the umbrella of, man, the NFL is just not as big time and as buttoned up as they try to make everybody think they are. Again, how many guys out there don't have their vaccination cards? How many have faked it? I mean, how many? We don't even know.
It ain't just Antonio Brown and Mike Edwards. That's for damn sure.
No crap. Exactly. But there's the NFL. They obviously, like everything else, are going to save 7 cents on their $170 billion they make a year to not have people do the due diligence to check the vaccination cards. So I'm sure it is an issue. I mean, I'm sure it is. You're right. He's not the only guy in the league. There's no way. But it's disappointing on the NFL. Again, just not as buttoned up. A lot of hey, the Shield, we look buttoned up, but we don't really do our due diligence or do the right things all the time to actually be classified as buttoned up.
In fairness to the NFL, I need to take 30 seconds and explain what they did as sparked by the fact that they discovered, and again, it fell into their laps, the Antonio Brown, Mike Edwards thing. Because if Brown just pays his live-in chef, he's still masquerading as a vaccinated player with a fake card, and Mike Edwards is doing the same. If Aaron Rodgers doesn't test positive a month ago, he's still showing up at press conferences without a mask on. So the NFL this is a prime example of how the NFL is not proactive. They are reactive. And even when they have cause to believe, they're on notice that there's an issue with fake vaccination cards. It's common sense. You've created a dramatic difference between the rules that apply to the vaccinated and the rules that apply to the unvaccinated. Thus, you have created tremendous temptation for the unvaccinated to go get a little square of paper that says, I got vaccinated. It isn't all that hard. We've talked about that. It's not even laminated. It's a piece of paper you could print off with the right information on it. So what they've done, and they told me this Thursday, because my first question was, now that you've confirmed that this has happened in Tampa, what are you doing about exploring what the other 31 teams are doing? They got with the other 31 teams and they said, tell us about your positive rate, your guys who have gotten COVID, who have tested positive among the vaccinated, because 80%, and the league told me this, we hadn't known this before, 80% of the players who are vaccinated got their shots at the team facilities. 20% got their shots off-site, like Antonio Brown. And if it's off-site, it's more likely to be a fake card.
Right.
So they were told that there's no difference in the positive rates among the unvaccinated, or not the unvaccinated, those who were vaccinated at the site and those who were vaccinated elsewhere. So we see no difference in the positive rates. So we see no problem. Well, who cares? You either got guys using fake vaccination cards or you don't. It doesn't matter whether or not they're testing positive. What matters is, do they have fake cards? And you've admitted that 20% of your guys who were vaccinated off-site. That's your universe. The guys vaccinated on-site, you don't have to investigate them. We're not talking about 1,700. We're talking about 20% of the vaccinated players. And they just don't want to do it, Chris. They don't want to roll up their sleeves and spend the money and put in the work. They want to create the impression they're doing something.
I know, right?
They did a good job of selling it to Shefty, and he swallowed the hook on Sunday, and he did what he was supposed to do. He was a good soldier, and he said, Bruce Arians wants him to do more. Well, they're doing more. No, they're not. They want us to think they are, but they're not.
No, it seems that way. And, yeah, it's kind of surprising. For as serious as they made the whole issue and the hoops that they make everybody go through that's not vaccinated, to just take it at people's word who were vaccinated off-site, yeah, to me it's surprising. Again, it really is. And I think a lot of it, like, you know, to your point, I don't know what it is. It's not the due diligence, not wanting to spend the money. And, yeah, maybe it's the legal liability of this whole situation that all plays into it that you brought up, but certainly odd.
Well, hey, here's the bottom line. The fact that they let Aaron Rodgers continue to show up for his press conferences without a mask on when they knew he was unvaccinated. That's the difference between Rodgers and Brown, because people are like, well, why wasn't Rodgers suspended? He didn't lie to the league. He told them the truth. He just lied to everybody else.
Yeah.
But they let him keep showing up without a mask on. They're not investigating a problem that they are aware of. And there is no way in hell that the only team that has players with fake vaccination cards is the Buccaneers. They're just the only one that has a guy dumb enough to allow the evidence of it to come to light because he pissed off somebody who knew that he had a fake vaccination card by not paying his bill. It tells me, and this is a fair conclusion based upon the evidence available to us, it's all window dressing this year. They really don't care. They have gotten as numb to it as everyone else. They just don't care. Dr. Sills, ceremonial at this point. They just don't care. And if they do care, Dr. Alan Sills, if you do care, get on the phone right now with Roger Goodell and say, why aren't we investigating the presence of fake vaccination cards? Do you not realize what this means? Do you not realize that this means that there are guys who truly aren't vaccinated, who are in the faces of and around people who are vaccinated, including maybe cancer survivors, maybe some guys on the wrong side of 65. Hell, Bill Belichick, Pete Carroll, there's two head coaches right there who shouldn't have a guy with a fake vaccination card within 6 feet of them because they may be shedding more virus as an unvaccinated person who has it. So anyway, rant over, but prove us wrong. Prove us wrong. Prove us that you care about it by going out and finding the other fake vaccination cards, because I guarantee you there are more. If there were 3 of them in all in Tampa when they had a 90-man roster, it tells me there's about 100 of them league-wide, if that statistical sample would hold.
Hi, I'm Mike Tirico, and thanks for watching. Make sure to hit subscribe for the latest news and highlights from NBC Sports.